Hi, I'm with one of the co-founders of Startup Bus Africa. And hi, can you tell us how Startup Bus Africa started?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Christopher Brouwsen, and Startup Bus Africa started over 6 months ago when Magnus, the original co-founder of the Danish Startup Bus, and myself, who'd been involved in the UK Founder Bus, came together and thought, hey, let's start doing a bus in Africa because there's a lot more potential there for real impact and change. And then we grew the team, and Fabian from Germany took the lead on the team. He's one of the co-founders of Founder Bus originally in Germany. And we grew our team with local partners in Zimbabwe and South Africa who've been absolutely phenomenal to make Startup Bus Africa happen, and such a big success it was.
Can you tell us more about the team and also the entrepreneurs who took part of the bus?
Definitely, yes. So our team included, for example, Francis in Zimbabwe, who has done some really fantastic things there, including getting Econet, the largest telecoms company in the country, on board as a sponsor. And then Stuart Minnaar, who's a serial entrepreneur from South Africa and part of the World Economic Global Shapers, who really helped us a lot in getting the Silicon Cape on board and getting local accelerators in Cape Town on board. As well as Elvis, who's the executive director of the Ikazi Entrepreneurs, who hosted us for our final event in Cape Town.
And which startups won at the end?
Yeah, so the Buspreneurs, an amazing bunch. We had 15 from the African continent and 15 from the rest of the world. And 8 startups are developed. Those startups include everything from healthcare, mobile, and energy. And the startups that won all are operating in industries that no one else is addressing at the moment that solve real problems in Africa. So the winner is Workforce, which tackles the problem of unemployment in the construction worker market in Africa, where currently you have lines of day workers lined up to get a day's work. Then you have Funerally, which solves the problem of funeral management in Africa. Everyone dies and everyone needs a funeral at some point. In Africa, oftentimes when people have family members who pass away, they have to take big loans which cripple the family, and they help to solve that. And then you have Bribed.co, which is quite an interesting one. So what they do is they're an aggregation app for market data about the amount of bribe you have to pay to get rid of an official in any given location. So you never have to bribe too much.
So that's quite funny, so it's like legalizing bribes.
It's not exactly legalizing it, not endorsing it either. It's simply helping the briber to pay less bribe, to get rid of corrupt officials.
What does StereoMe do?
So myself, I also developed a company on the Startup Bus with my 2 co-founders, Danielle Reed, who is now in Germany, who's originally Australian, who's a fantastic designer, and Dean Rotherham, who's originally from Johannesburg but now lives in Cape Town and runs an audio startup. And what our startup does, Stereo.me, is we're a mobile education startup, and we help the primary education market in Africa. So we help the teachers save time, and the learners get access to more engaging content via audio. It's accessible through any feature phone, so you could use your old brick Nokia. How it works is the teacher pre-records a lesson or selects one from our stereo marketplace. The lessons are about 10 minutes, including 5 questions, and we call them stereo. The process is learning out loud. So then the teacher gives the students an SMS code. The student SMSs that code to us. About 7 seconds later, we give them a call back. And in that call, the student will hear the teacher give the student questions. And with a click of a button, they can answer those questions. And in real time, the teacher gets the feedback and the analytics of that. The teacher can also track the student performance over time. And therefore, it really tackles several problems at the same time. It tackles the problem of not having necessarily books available for homework. The teachers not having time to distribute, collect, and assess all the homework individually for every student. Sometimes parents could be illiterate. Even in South Africa, the CIA World Factbook says that 17% of women over the age of 15 are illiterate. These parents could help their children with the audio learning in stereo because it's in local languages. And it also tackles the problem of not having internet access that is required for resources like Khan Academy. So that's Stereo.me really, social enterprise.
And the service is free?
It's free for teachers, it's free for the learners. We monetize by a different route, which is value-add messaging from NGOs. For example, when the learner is listening to a message, listening to their lesson, they're in an education mindset. So within that education mindset, we can offer 30 seconds of a 10-minute lesson to, for example, the World Health Organization, who wants to spread a message about the use of malaria nets, or who wants to spread a message that is AIDS prevention related or medicine, intake related.
And that would be in the local language.
In the local language or in English, depending on what the teachers decide the lesson should be in. So teachers could do their lessons in any language they want, really.
And why did you decide to go on the mobile route?
Mobile, because mobile is the present and I think also the future in Africa. Mobile penetration in Africa is over 80%. The rise of smartphones is also phenomenal. Data is getting cheaper and cheaper. Here in the Western world we see everything migrate to mobile, but in Africa it's already migrated to mobile. They've skipped the whole browser part, where they had their desktop at home. And in Africa people do payments, people do learning, people do their healthcare, people do so many different things via mobile, more so than in the Western world. And it really also is that access thing. Not everyone has access to a computer, but everyone has access somehow to a feature phone, an old Nokia brick, etc.
And how did you select the other startups on the platform?
Everyone was selected as an individual. We had over 200 applications, and in the end we selected only 30. So 15 from Africa, 15 from the Western world, and then they formed teams themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.